Hi everyone! In this video, we will simplify complex fractions. Simplify 2 to the 7th minus 2 to the 5th, all divided by 4/5 raised to the 2nd power. Before we get started, let's review the order of operations, which are parentheses, exponents, multiply and divide from left to right, add and subtract from left to right. While we don't have any parentheses here, we do have a long division sign, which does imply that there are a set of parentheses here on the top and on the bottom, meaning we need to do all of the operations in the numerator and all of the operations in the denominator before we can simplify that fraction. So we're going to go ahead and work in the numerator. We have powers and we have a subtraction, and since exponents comes before adding and subtracting, we need to evaluate those first. 2 raised to the 7th in my calculator is 128, and 2 raised to the 5th power in my calculator is 32. In the denominator, we have a fraction being squared, which means both the numerator and the denominator are going to be raised to that exponent. So we end up with 4 squared and 5 being squared. And I'm going to go ahead and keep that in parentheses so that we remember that it's on the big denominator. Now we can go ahead and subtract. 128 minus 32 is 96, and 4 squared is 16 in the denominator, and 5 squared is 25. So now we have a complex fraction. That means I have a fraction inside of a fraction. So we have 96 being divided by the fraction 16/25. And we don't divide fractions, we always multiply by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of the second fraction. So we need to flip this fraction upside down and multiply it. So we end up with 96 being multiplied to 25 over 16. And since 96 is a whole number, we could go ahead and put it over a 1 if you want, or you can leave it alone. Either way, now we can go ahead and multiply. But before we multiply, I always look for factors that can go into anything in the numerator and the denominator now instead of at the end, because these numbers are smaller, making the simplification much faster. 96 and 16 are both even. In fact, 96 is divisible by 16. 96 divided by 16 is 6. And 16 divided by 16 is 1. So we have 6 times 25 for the numerator. 6 times 25 is 150. 1 times 1 is 1. And 150 divided by 1 is 150. And we're all done. We have simplified this complex fraction.